Welcome to Power Hour, where the editors of Powersports Business interview the movers and shakers of the powersports industry. Okay, everybody, Brendan Baker here with Powersports Business Power Hour, and we're at AIMExpo, and we got a special guest with us today, and we've got our special podcast set up in the booth at AIMExpo. Not live, but we're here. This will come out soon enough. But I'm here with Dave Oventhal from Northwood University. And he's got some, in Northwood, I've known of Northwood for a long time, especially on the automotive side. They've got a number of great programs that they do. A lot for the automotive, whether if you want to get into the automotive business, they've got a design program, whether it's from aftermarket to working for an OEM, but now they're working on a powersports program. And that's what Dave is here for. So similar to what the automotive side is, right? Yep. You're going to have kind of a program to where you can take a student interested in power sports. Hey, I want to have a career in this. How do I get into it?
Yeah, exactly. And we, as you've mentioned, for over 60 years, we've been teaching folks, business leaders, in the automotive industry, in the automotive aftermarket industry. And my background is power sports. So now that I'm with the university, we had a first course last semester on power sports, kind of the fundamentals of the industry.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the students are not familiar with power sports. They're very familiar with the car industry.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they might know Harley, but they don't really know, how do you get in? It looks like something that's very foreign in a lot of ways. I don't know, especially when you're in that Midwest, Northwood was very tied into the OEMs in Detroit and all that. But, I think it's amazing that you guys have looked at power sports and seen a program that is a viable, way to get kids in, because that's what we need. We need new blood.
Most definitely. I had a conversation with Christy at the MIC in Buckner, and we're talking about how do we get high school students interested in power sports industry.
Right.
We all know that we need young blood in the industry, just like the automotive industry, and there's so many opportunities now, especially in terms of great careers,
right?
As well as succession planning. A lot of folks are getting old and want to sell their business.
This is true. Not only are people aging out of riding, I feel like some of these owners that have been legacy dealerships and legacy people in the industry are kind of they're hanging it up. We just had Ed Cole. Answer Racing's had 50th anniversary here, and you're like, 50 years, that's a career, man. That's a hell of a career. So, now we got to train the next generation,
And that's, we hear so much about the lack of technicians, and we know that on the power sports side and the automotive side, there is a lack of technicians. A lot of opportunities for kids that want to go to trade school. But the folks that don't want to go to trade school, that want to just be on the business side of operations, that's where Northwood, since 1963, we've been teaching automotive business professionals. And, the school started in '59, and our founders realized very shortly, hey, we're in Michigan. We got to be working with the automotive industry.
Oh, yeah.
So Northwood University is legendary in terms of we have a really cool program, like you mentioned. So we call it the Center for Automotive and Mobility Studies, CAMS.
Okay.
And underneath that umbrella, we have two bachelor degree programs right now. We have a automotive marketing and management program, and we have an automotive aftermarket management program.
Yeah.
So the students are right now getting passed for those two parts of the industry.
Will you be under that CAMS umbrella, or is it going to be separate? Power sports, PAMS.
Yep, exactly. We're like the military. We're always looking at, abbreviations.
You got PAMS and CAMS.
Yeah, anything that rhymes.
Yeah,
so,
right.
But power sports will be under CAMS.
Okay.
Right now, we're just adding classes as electives.
Okay.
So the students in our automotive programs and aftermarket programs, they want more electives. They've asked us for more electives, so power sports. We have another class we're working on is tech for non-techies.
Yeah.
So our students are going to be in sales roles, a lot of them.
Yeah.
And as we know, it's important in the automotive industry, but it's more important, I think, in the power sports industry to be able to talk the talk.
It is. I mean, you don't have to be a writer necessarily to be in it, but it helps. I think that being an enthusiast helps, but if you're not that, you need to at least understand some of the basic technologies that you're talking about every day,
right?
In this industry.
And that's what we're teaching them, kind of what is a clutch? What are
right.
the different types of engines? Very high level.
Yeah.
So when they come to a dealership, they're able to, we know customers are coming in more informed than a lot of us now. And so the staff needs to be experts in the product.
Yeah.
And this is another little way that we can get them ready.
So are you getting a lot of students that were in the automotive side going, hey, let me check out Powersports? I never thought about that. And are you out there recruiting kids right out of high school maybe, or that are looking to go, like, hey, we have Powersports, so you can add this little feather, or maybe you can combine and have automotive with a Powersports minor. I don't know.
Right now we just started. We're kind of crawl, walk, and run, and so my goal, because I'm a Powersports guy, I want to add a lot more courses, and maybe down the road, if there's enough of a interest from enough students, maybe we can have a degree program down the road.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, but right now, so many automotive companies are buying up Powersport dealerships.
Yeah.
It's the class we just had, our first class, had about 11 students. They were juniors and seniors, automotive, marketing and management students.
Okay.
And 2 of them had worked in dealers, or they're Powersport guys.
Yeah.
The rest of the class, it was all new.
Yeah.
But they've all worked in automotive dealerships.
Okay.
And that's where they're going in their career. So they were interested in Powersports. Even one of the students, his family, because a lot of our automotive students come from dealership families.
Right.
So
tends to be, I don't know, I feel like these kind of industries tend to be like your dad or your uncle or somebody was in it, worked in the field, and now it's getting kind of passed down to because they've seen it from their parents. And I got into racing because of my dad, and I got into parts and all that stuff because my dad was in it. He wasn't into Powersports, but I got that. I bought my own motorcycle. My first bike was a Honda SL70.
Oh wow!
And then, my parents bought me. But then the second bike I bought myself with my own money that I earned working at my dad's parts store.
What bike did you?
And it was an RM80.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was an RM80. I wanted something fast, and I was like, I think I was like 14, so yeah, and it was one of those things. Once I started riding and doing it, I loved it, and never thought it would actually end up being my career. It was always like, yeah, I'm gonna mess around in the backfield, ride around. I wanted to race bikes, but parents would not let me. But I raced go-karts and quarter midgets and all that stuff. It's like Powersports adjacent, I would say. But
and I'm the same way. My family wasn't Powersports family. My neighbors were, and I got in it from them. And I think the first time I rode, I was 7 or 8.
Okay, yeah.
And I just love motorcycles.
Right.
Got the bug.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm hoping with as we start the curriculum. Because some of our students, like one of the students I had in my class, his family owns a bunch of Subaru dealerships. But they also have BRP and Polaris.
Right, okay.
So he learned some new stuff because the MIC's been really helpful supporting us with the course.
Oh, yeah.
As well as the OEs. We've had a lot of help writing the course material through many of the folks at the different OEs. So yeah, we're
because they're looking for people. 100%. Again, we're all looking for good talent.
Yeah.
And in the end, it's like you want to find people that want to make this a career.
Right.
Not just a job that you come into. I mean, it's a job. They're all jobs, but it's not like a summer job. You want to get into where, if you want to work for like a
change over the years from when you were riding to now?
Yeah, it has changed a lot. I mean, for me, it's more going from an enthusiast, and we've got somebody, he's off camera, and where are you from? Mark? You're oh, okay, yeah. So what I would say is like when you're an enthusiast and you love riding it, and then you come in and work behind the curtain, and the industry looks a lot different. You know what I mean? Because it's like now it's all about relationships and making connections with people.
And the industry's so much smaller than you think.
And it is a lot smaller. And that's the thing. This industry is much smaller than the automotive industry, but there is a lot more camaraderie I find here and I worked in the automotive and nothing wrong with it, but you just have a lot more, you come here, it's like old home week. You see people you haven't seen for a while, you catch up, you can't walk down the hallway without running into somebody. And it's great, for that. But, it's also a smaller industry. It is, I wouldn't say that there's a ceiling on it, but, you're working for smaller businesses generally, unless you work for an OEM.
Right.
And OEMs,
some of our students go and work
and
for
you could
Honda
work.
and
You work
Toyota.
for an OEM. There are big companies in the power sports space, but there's majority of the space is small businesses,
Exactly.
including dealerships. But there's big dealership groups that may own, 10, 15 dealers. So but you start somewhere.
Right.
The key is to start somewhere.
Exactly. And
And to start.
And that's what's so great about Northwood is we give so much experiential experience to our students. So in the summers, they're all working at dealerships all over the country.
Yeah.
And that's another such a cool thing of now moving into power sports is talking to the MIC, the AMA, Moto America,
Yep.
in terms of potentially giving opportunities to students down the road. And then maybe some of these organizations will find employees from
Now,
these internship programs.
Is Northwood looking at training any technicians or anything? Is it okay? So
No,
no
we're
technicians.
not.
You're more on the
we're just
business level. Hey,
yeah.
thank you.
Yes.
Thanks.
Just on the business side.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Which is cool. I mean, I think there's a definite need for that.
Yep.
And really, there's a lot of opportunity in this because, like you said, from a sales side, management type side, a dealership is all about, there are technicians, and we're all short of technicians. You hear that all the time.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a whole nother
Ford
story.
CEO just said,
Yeah.
what, 5,000 mechanics they need. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
obvious.
it's a shortage everywhere, and I think that will slowly change as well because you're seeing now more kids that don't want to go the traditional college route. Not everybody's cut out for it, especially and I've got a bunch of nephews that they're kind of like me. They want to go out and live life before they decide what they're going to do. So
Which is important. I did the same thing, and you figure that out, and I think that there's so much opportunity for new employees in the industry. I'm just excited about helping to train that next group of leaders. And some of the things like you asked about, how are we recruiting and how are we getting the word out there? So for the power sports class, we really just promoted it within the Northwood community, and we got a lot of good feedback. Students were really excited, but we also have a lot of other programs that we do. We work, interact with a lot of high schools in the area.
Oh, okay.
So we're talking to them, getting the high school kids excited as they're starting to think about where they're going to go to college.
Right.
What's really cool about Northwood is, and this brings a lot of our students, is that, so Northwood started in '59. We started training automotive in '63.
Oh.
Northwood has the largest outdoor auto show in North America.
Oh yeah.
This year will be 63rd year. Student-led. Students do it all. Basically, our president, Dr. McDonald, gives the keys to the campus to the students, and they run the whole thing. Wow. It's a massive, the entire
incredible.
campus is an auto show.
That's awesome. That's really, really cool. Now, can there be a power sports side to that?
So that's what's happening this year. One of our students, hardcore power sports guy, freshman, he's now running a new division in the auto show for power sports.
Oh, wow.
So the students are going around recruiting local dealers to come and display. Part of why I'm here at AIM, I'm also talking to the OEs.
Yeah.
Because we have such a great footprint from all the OEs on the auto side, we want to start giving that opportunity to the power sports side. So that's going to be, a lot of our students have come to the auto show as high school students. They see the auto show and they're like, I can do this. I can run this whole thing. And then they come to Northwood for a career in automotive.
That's awesome. That's incredible. And I think you have to empower kids, you know, students, because if you just say, no, you know, at some point, if you empower them to let them, you know, let's see what you can do and let them, they will blow your mind, you know, and it's really cool to hear that, to hear Powersports becoming now more of a component of that. And I know Northwood's got a fantastic reputation in the industries that you've been in. Plus, you have a traditional college, from what you know, it's a traditional college, but you have these specialty programs, you know, that
So we're very niche, and like you said, you can go there to Northwood for marketing degrees. You can go there for, we have a business school or a graduate school. And at that graduate school, we have actually 2 master programs right now focused on automotive. And we have a Master in Science and Organizational Leadership for automotive professionals, and we just started an MBA for Automotive Mobility. And so now we're giving folks, and I'm sharing that also with my friends here at AIM, is that if folks want to go and get their graduate degrees, you can now get an MBA focused on automotive and mobility, where there's case studies and discussions on the automotive and power sports industries.
Wow. No, that's pretty cool too, because, you know, there's not a lot of MBA programs that I know of that really focus on these kind of industries. You know, they're mostly focused on, you know, you know, it's like straight business, you know what I mean? And so, but I think these industries, they are a little bit different, especially, you know, with the dealership component, because, you know, and that is just part of how the channel and how it's been set up for, you know, I don't know how, do you know the history of like why they had to go through a dealer network at all? Like, I think it was like from what I understood, it was like maybe the government didn't want the OEM to control the channel all the way through like that. You had to have a dealer that could make a margin up, you know, they wanted to add people to the chain, you know, to the 2 or 3 step chain. And power sports we are pretty much a really traditional 3-stepper, and as opposed to automotive that kind of does a lot more 2-step. You know?
Exactly. And you know, there's a long history to U.S. Franchise laws, and they're different by state to state. And Northwood, we have a very close relationship with the auto side, so the NADA and a lot of those folks. So we're very strong in supporting the dealers. We believe it's a very important part of the business model. Because customers,
it's the ecosystem of the industry. You know,
and there's still, you know, the dealers now are so advanced. They're giving us choices. So if I want to do all my paperwork online, most dealers can do that now. Because we all have that Amazon mindset. The great thing that I've learned is the majority of people still want to go to car dealerships and touch and feel the car. Now they'll go there probably knowing more than most people, because they've done their homework.
You know, and we've had in the power sport, I don't like going to car dealerships because I feel like I get held hostage if I go in there. And one of the things I want to bring up was like this notion that car dealers are 10 years ahead of the power sports dealer world, which maybe in some aspects it's true, because they've got more of the technology. They use a lot more technology right now. They're usually the first ones to try it out and make, like AI right now being big. You know, using your dealer management system and tying in, you know, all your you know, because a dealership model is basically running 4 or 5 businesses under one roof. You
Definitely.
know?
And it's such a challenge. I'm so impressed with the general managers and dealer principals that I meet, because it is such an incredible business. That, like,
and it's hard to run.
It's extremely hard to run.
It's very, very hard to run. But these guys are smart.
They're very smart, you know, and it's really nice working with companies like Lithium Driveway, which is one of the largest, they own the most dealerships in the U.S. And they're overseas too. But they're so forward thinking and it's fun working with them because we all learn a lot too.
Yeah.
And basically, they really are. It's not so much that the automotive dealerships are so far ahead of powersport dealerships. It's just that a lot of times they have to have those systems because of the size of the operations too. But what I've learned, and I've been really surprised the last couple of cars I bought, and now working, I go to a lot of car dealerships.
Yeah.
Is that mindset of being held hostage and all that? It doesn't happen so much anymore. It's usually a very smooth process.
Yeah.
Because the margins are small on new vehicles.
Right.
They're going to make their money on parts and fix-ops.
Yeah.
And that's where the loyalty comes from.
Right.
And they
don't
really
want to
focused.
they don't want to tick you off before they've even got you as a,
Exactly.
because the money, you're exactly right. The margins on new vehicles, even in powersport, they're slim, you know. I think powersports might have some of the better margins, better than the car dealers. Some of those car dealers are like, sometimes they want them as a customer to do their service work, to have them keep coming back and do it using their they know they've got to get them to come in and do oil changes and
get their next
tires,
car,
get their next
tell
car,
their friends,
move up,
things like that. And that's where the dealerships are really. At Northwood, at our auto show, we also have a big industry summit, and the topics over the last couple of years have been hospitality. We're not in the car business; we're in the hospitality business.
You hear it now more and more in the powersports side about customer experience, and that seems to be the buzzword, along with AI. AI is always a but anyway, that customer experience thing is super. Now, I just interviewed Sonic Powersports, Sonic Automotive, and they own a bunch of automotive dealerships, but they also bought some pretty key motorcycle dealerships like in Sturgis.
Oh, wow.
And they sold, during Sturgis, they were able to work with the city and sold 1,100 bikes.
I saw that. That was crazy.
And he told me that a lot of it was from the they set up their salespeople with iPads with all the stuff. They could go through it. They could run people through and get them signed and done in like 10, 15 minutes.
It's so fast nowadays. And that's where we've all hated to go there because you spend a whole day. You don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
And I think learning some of those things that the automotive industry is doing, we can bring that over to the powersports and vice versa, because powersports, you go to a dealership, it's a different experience.
Yeah.
And
a dealership in powersports is supposed to be, it's more of like a fun hangout thing, not like you're going there because you're getting, your wallet's going to get damaged.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, your wallet may get damaged a little bit but at the same time, it becomes sort of the hangout. You want to be there, and you want them to be your friends.
Right.
You want them your customers to be people you like and hang out with, or have them come to events at your dealership.
Exactly.
So I do think a lot of that has changed over time, and especially, and automotive figured that out earlier than the powersports. And powersports has always been kind of a club or a clique in some ways, and you could walk into one dealership and they're all tatted up and they don't even look at you, and but then you go into others and they may look into, and they're just the most warm, people. I think it just has to be that we can't afford to turn people away, turn customers away, or to turn away potential, career students, people that want to grow it as a career.
Yeah, and that's why, as we start working on this and getting more students involved and excited about powersports, hopefully in the future we can bring some to AIMExpo. We can bring them to other events. The other cool thing that we're working on, and it's related to powersports and auto, is we're now stepping our toes into motorsports and racing.
Okay.
So there's so much incredible racing.
And which I could talk on and on about that, because I worked in racing for a long time, and I love racing. That's what kind of gets, and this is why I love powersports, because it's the closest thing to me feeling like what was like being in racing in a lot of ways, because there's that passion and enthusiasm. It's just I don't have to pull all-nighters at a racetrack anymore. Instead, I might still pull an all-nighter putting out a magazine, but, even that's gotten a lot easier, as over time with the technologies we have. So,
but we're talking to the racing community in power sports
Yeah.
now too, because
There's good careers and
there's incredible careers.
Yeah.
And we want the students to learn the real world, that it's as fun as it is, it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
And they're going to get those experiences so they can make the right career choice. And
I always I look at kids or people that have had the racing experience, I don't care in what, but it's a certain type of, it's like being in the military, because you're working for this singular goal to win a race. You may not get to do that, but that is your mission, and you're going to make everything happen. Sometimes you pull the impossible off just to do it. And people need to know what that's like, because in life, sometimes you have to pull off the mission impossible.
Oh yeah. Stay up all
And-
night to do a presentation for
Yeah.
a business plan or something
Right.
like that. Or even just showing up at events like this,
It
how much
just
work gets involved.
Teaches you, I feel like it's a work ethic thing.
Yeah.
It's like not learning how to problem solve. Problem solving is a big part of business world today and just life in general. But when my racing career kind of taught me, and I was on the driving side and the mechanic side, but it taught me a lot of how to think through the problems, how to attack problems, how to, get through things that seemed impossible, And I'm not saying I'm great at any of it, but it did teach you something.
Yeah, we all learned that, and that's what you were talking about in terms of our auto show where the students run it, and allowing them to go out there and make mistakes.
Right.
And last year, all of a sudden, there was a gas leak on campus.
Yeah.
The day they were launching everything.
Oh, geez.
And the students, they didn't even worry about it. They got all the cars out of a certain building, got everyone out of there, called the fire department, gas leak was fixed, and the show went on.
Show goes on, yeah.
And no one even knew.
Yeah.
But the students did such a great job of doing what they had to do to get the show out. There's so many cool stories of, if anybody's worried about the next generation, don't worry about it.
Right.
We're in great hands.
No, I had a couple of young kids over here earlier. They may stop back. They're a dealer in Florida. They're killing it on social media. They looked at this and oh yeah, our setup here. Technology is not a problem for them.
Exactly.
The older you get, it gets harder.
Right.
But these guys, they got it all figured out. They don't have all the other experience that comes along, but they're getting that, and they're going to be at that next level.
Yeah.
They're going to definitely take it to, and I love seeing that.
It's so fun to watch.
Yeah.
And it's also that different perspective. It's so easy for us with all the experience and old to say no. But when you bring in those young employees, like one of our students, she worked at a dealership over the summer, and she just mentioned our website's terrible.
Yeah.
And the owner of the dealership said, fix it. And from her 20-year-old perspective of what she knows people are looking for, she helped redesign the whole website.
Wow,
and
that's awesome.
So those are the kind of students that we have at Northwood, and it's a real honor to be able to help them move on to their career. And as a motorcycle power sports guy, I want to be part of this industry too. Auto's
heck
awesome, but power sports is a lot of fun.
I mean, anything we can do to help,
Thank you so much.
I'm 100% behind this. I think our company, anything, this is an important area that we need to address, and that I don't know that it gets as much attention as it should. Because we need to get this next generation in and up to speed, because some of these guys are getting out quicker than you think. We're seeing dealership closure. 25 was a struggle. As I wrote in my column, that's just coming out, is we spent 2025 in the upside down, Stranger Things.
Right.
Wait, let me sit down. Boom, straight. Yeah, I've got all these effects now, so there we go. Oh yeah, hey, Dave. Hey, thank you for coming along.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
having
man.
me. This was great.
Is excellent.
Really
I
nice
really
to talk to
appreciate
you.
it. Good talking to you, and wish
See
you
you at the
all
auto
the
show in
success. I'll see you
September.
at the auto show on the Powersports side,
Yeah.
of course. But
September
yes,
18th.
Okay, I'm there.
Awesome. I can't wait
That's
to see you.
Great. Thank you so
much, pal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
That was awesome.
If
If you like this podcast, please like, share, and subscribe. We also invite you to connect with us on powersportsbusiness.com.